This is Will Goldstein from thekingscourt.com. I'm going to be doing a series probably, or for at least starting with this, on from the Zohar, the Book of Enlightenment, from Kabbalah, and the first. So basically, I can't. I'm going to go through the story, and I can't read the story because it's copyrighted. But I can tell you the story, and then I can give kind of like at least my interpretation of what he's saying. And again, it is my interpretation because that's the whole point. It's a code, so other people might come up with different interpretations. So so it's very secretive, hidden mysteries, sort of. But the first video, this one, is called the Creation of Elohim. So and Elohim is a Hebrew term. So first of all, I have to define what that is. So Elohim is all inhabitants of the spiritual or heavenly realm. So that would include also God, so with a capital G, but it also includes gods with a small g. So basically it would include angels, demons even, because they're originally from the heavenly realm. So it's basically a category. It's like a title for a group or a class of beings, and from the heavenly realm. That's what Elohim is. So, but often it's also referred to primarily as God, so which is very confusing. So, Yahweh, YHVH, it could be looked at as the Elohim of Elohim, meaning the God, capital G, of gods, small g. So these gods are basically rulers. God is trying to share his authority, and instead of just taking it all for himself, he kind of divvies out, rulerships and governorships and for example, you might look at it as though certain gods, small g, are rulers over galaxies or planets or stars or the moon or whatever. So that's a little bit similar to just maybe not Jehovah's Witness, but Mormons or something like that, which I'm not, but it's definitely in the Bible. So, all right, so Creation of Elohim. So, first of all, there's a king, and for the interpretation of king, it would be in Kabbalah would be Ein Sof, which is that the reason why he's Ein Sof is because he's the concealed God, and he's ordaining something. He's creating what he calls a luster on high, and basically the luster on high is like this luster has to do with brilliance, and so that's having to do with this is going to coincide with the 10 Sephirot. So Keter, the sun. Okay, so what I would interpret is as the sun, or the Logos, the Son of God. So engravings in the luster on high, a blinding spark flashed. So remember, this is the creation of these beings. So now, the luster on high is creating that. For the luster on high is actually the co-eternal Keter that's creating these engravings. Okay, so or you can interpret it in the heavens, but he's the creator. There's a spark that's flashing, and that spark is coming from the concealed of the concealed. So the concealed of the concealed would be God the Father, who dwells in unapproachable light. He's concealed, and we don't know really what the mind of he's in that, and we also don't know exactly what his mind is, but that's where it's coming from. So, and that's the potency. So Keter is the potency of the potentiality of God the Father, or the concealed of the concealed. So, and this is the mystery of the infinite. So again, we're going back to Ein Sof. The infinite in Kabbalah is referring to Ein Sof because we don't know. Nothing can be said. And there's a vapor and formlessness. So now we're talking about the void. So So the formlessness means that there's the void. He's beginning the creation of. Up until now, there is no real universe or anything. There's no place. The Elohim, the other Elohim, the small gods don't even exist, and they're set in a ring. Well, that in Hawking, Stephen Hawking's, the universe, you got the spark, and then it's gone like this. Well, what does that kind of look like? A ring. Pretty amazing. So the expanding universe, and it's set in a ring, and it's expanding. So, and not why, there's no colors, he's saying basically, no color at all. And then it says when the band spanned. So, again, band spanned. So it yielded, and it produced radiant colors. So, we'll look at all the pictures that we get from the Hubble, and the galaxies, and all the colors of all the gases. And so you have this amazing picture of the galaxies in formation. So, and they're deep within the spark, so there's a flow that's starting to emanate, and it's imbuing colors. So the colors of the Sephiroth that are happening, and this is all the mystery of the infinite. So it's all coming out of the mind of God, the infinite one, that's being transferred to the co-eternal one, which is Keter. And so, and this all broke through. But it didn't break from the aura, meaning so God is still on the other side of that wall. So you have a wall, and here's the transcendent God, and then here's Keter, the word of the Logos, on the other side of that wall. So there's a division. So no one has ever seen God the Father. Okay? So, and it says right here, it was not known at all. Don't know. All the great theologians, they would ask about who God the Father, don't know. Even Anselm, don't know. Okay, I give my own guess. That's about all you could say about it. Okay, so and there's an impact, and that impact is breaking through. It's crossing from where there was only God into on the other side where it's crossing through. It's breaking through, and then there was one point that shined out of it. So this would be that singularity, is that what they say in physics? So the singularity of the spark. So one point shone, and beyond that point, nothing is known. So again, looking back to the infinite one, nothing's known, and then this is called the beginning. If that isn't a story of, you remember this was written at least in the 13th century. So if that isn't the story of creation, then in our terms, in scientists today, I don't know what is. And this was the first command of all. So creation begins, and then it says basically, and the enlightened will shine, and the Zohar, it means radiance in the sky. So, and also the sons of God can refer, again, it's rulers, but it's also kind of referring to the stars in the sky and all the galaxies, and so wherever there's light. Okay, so and those who make the masses righteous. So right off the bat, there's a God of love who's ushering forth righteousness. So it sounds like to me like he really wants to have a family. So he's making this creation because he wants to have a righteousness and a family. And this family of these righteous ones, right off the bat, these are stars, and they shine forever. So the Zohar, again, is the radiance, and it's concealed, comes from the concealed, and it struck its aura. So the aura touched it at that point, but it also did not touch the point. So in other words, he's going through that wall. So he's both did and didn't, because God is still transcendent on the other side of that division. Okay. So, and this is the beginning of emanation. So this is where it all began. And it's all about building a palace for God's glory and praise. That's the whole purpose of creation. You have God, and he's building a palace, the universe, so that other beings, he could have a relationship and they could worship and praise him. And it's all about that glory that is due to him. And there is a seed, and this seed is holiness. So holiness are those who will end up eternally praising that God. So, and it's the birth of holiness, because now we have the creator and we have the created. And this whole concept is benefiting the universe. And there's a secret in this, and that secret is the holy seed. And the Kabbalah, that holy seed, is the assembly of Israel. So Israel, but it's in a Christian context, it's all who are saved and all who are believers. And, that's transmitted to, I believe, eventually to the people of Israel. They are believers in in Yahweh. I'll just say Yahweh. It's just so easy. I just can't pronounce the other correct version. So this is the holy seed. So if you're a believer in Christ, then you are in Yahweh, then then you're at least on the right track. So again, Zohar is the radiance, and it's sowing this seed for glory. So, and here's an interesting part where it's going mystical. The seed of fine purple silk. Now, what in the world is that? Well, in mysticism, you have the colors, and the fine purple silk, I believe, would be referring to the human eye. You have ultraviolet colors. The human eye can only see, like ultraviolet is called ultraviolet because it's the end of the visual spectrum of what the human eye can see. So it's the meeting ground between the point at which the human eye can no longer perceive and the point where God comes and meets that point in the ultraviolet. And that's why violet and purples are that, like Christ, wore a purple robe. It's a color of royalty. It's the color of mysticism. And see, if you look in even Indian chakras, you're going to see, violet and purple up at the top. It's the third eye. So it's the seed of fine purple silk. In other words, the relationship to God. So, and this is all, again, for the creation of the Elohim. We haven't really gotten to humanity yet. So the silkworm wraps within and makes itself a palace. So this is the palace, I would say, because this is about the creation of the Elohim. The palace is the minds of the spiritual beings. Okay, that's the palace where they praise their God. This is the beginning, and it's the concealed one. And he's the one who is not known, but he created this palace or the universe. And the palace is called Elohim. And the secret is, with beginning, created Elohim. So that's basically the story. At the very beginning, God is all alone, all by himself, the co-eternal one, the Keter, and then Keter is the first one that passed beyond that point, and then he is the creator. The infinite one, Ein Sof, stands on the other side of that, and that through that Keter, the universe is created. And the first thing that's created, according to is I don't really know. It could be the palace could be both the universe, and it could also be the palace of the mind of the gods. So this was again from Zohar, the Book of Enlightenment, and you might want to get the book and actually read the story. The story again is called The Creation of Elohim. And basically it's just kind of like a little book report, and I did a summary of it. I didn't read it for copyright purposes, but I did kind of want to tell the story. And hope you enjoyed the video, and please subscribe.